for you. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 10.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. Late today, Tucson police announced that they will be holding a news conference tomorrow morning to announce a major felony indictment. The police chief, Pima County Sheriff, and county attorney are all expected to speak.
But the News 4 Tucson investigators have learned that this news conference is much bigger than it sounds. It's actually a crack in the case of the unsolved murders of 2 children in this community. News 4 Tucson's Lupita Murillo has the details.
Multiple sources tell News 4 Tucson investigators that this joint news conference has to do with the murders of Isabel Celis and Maribel Gonzalez. Sources tell me it's a major development in these cases. In April of 2012, little Isabel Celis was reported missing from her Midtown home. Tucson police, FBI, U.S. Marshals, plus other law enforcement agencies searched for the 6-year-old. 5 years later, the little girl's remains were found in a remote area in Pima County. It was in the general area where another young girl's body had been dumped 2 years earlier. June 2014, 13-year-old Maribel Gonzalez's body was found underneath some tires near Trico and Aptra Valley Road. The 2 girls lived near each other. Both went missing, and their remains were found in the same vicinity. News 4 Tucson spoke with Maribel's mother, Valerie Kalangi, in 2017 when Isabel Celis was found. Months earlier, Kalangi had appeared on a national TV show.
I remember being on the Maury Povich show that the psychic had told me that it was my daughter's death was linked to another murder.
We reached out to Tucson Police and the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and neither agency would give us an official statement on tomorrow's news conference. Be sure to stay with News 4 Tucson. We will be carrying the news conference live at 10 a.m. Lupita Murillo, News for Tucson.
A big change is coming to your ballot this fall.
And it affects the state's biggest race. News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink explains. It's new at 10.
For the first time in more than 2 decades, Arizona's governor race this fall will be a 2-man race, and only a 2-man race. The Libertarian Party will not have a candidate on the ballot for the first time since 1994. And Pima County Libertarian Party Chair Christopher Cole says he feels disgusted.
This attempt, successful, to get us off the ballot is nothing more than denying voters a choice.
In 2015, the state legislature changed the law and required minor parties like Libertarians to get more signatures from a pool of its party's voters and independents statewide in order for its candidates to make the ballot. This year, the party failed to meet the more than 3,000 voter threshold. Cole thinks this move was done by Republicans to help Republicans.
It helps Doug Ducey. Oh, yeah, definitely.
If that's the case, that actually validates the very reason why third parties were being used to manipulate elections in the past. It was never about a person who has serious support that's a legitimate alternative to Doug Ducey, David Garcia, whomever.
Pima County Republican Party Chair David Eppiheimer argues,
if you can't get 3,000 signatures, then are you a party that deserves to be on a ballot in a state the size of Arizona?
I spoke with Pima County Democratic Party Chair Joe Holt this afternoon. She believes this is all designed to help Governor Ducey in November and shows Republicans statewide are concerned Democrat David Garcia will unseat Ducey. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson.
Florence has now been downgraded to a tropical storm, but that didn't stop her from wreaking havoc in her path. 5 people are confirmed dead following the storm. A mother and her infant daughter were killed when a tree crashed into their house. The father is in the hospital with injuries. 3 other deaths were reported in North Carolina. The storm made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane around 7 this morning.
It hits home for all of us. I mean, regardless if you have kids or not, if you have a family or not, it's a human life.
Right now, our focus is on saving lives and protecting people. We're still in the thick of the storm, and it's far from over.
About 20,000 people in North Carolina sought refuge in more than 50 shelters, and millions are now without electricity. The slow-moving storm is expected to hover over the area for the next few days.
More than a dozen volunteers from southern Arizona are on the front lines in the southeast right now. The Red Cross inviting Tucsonans to take part in a training event this weekend to learn how you can help those in need during an emergency. The just-in-time shelter training going on tomorrow. Participants will learn basic skills needed to help evacuees and the protocol that comes along with working in a shelter during an emergency, such as Florence.
It's always good to have that training because there will be more. Even if it's not this year, it might be next year. You're trained. You can get out on the first wave more easily that way.
The training begins at 10 a.m. at the chapter offices in Midtown. You can find more information on our website, KVOA.com.
Straight ahead on News 4 Tucson at 10, we are going to celebrate a big milestone for us here at KVOA.
Plus, we are still tracking Tropical Storm Florence.
Plus, a local bartender talking to us about serving drinks in the old Pueblo since he moved here nearly 65 years ago.
All right, John, we're still tracking Tropical Storm Florence, hammering sections of the Carolinas. Back here at home, it was all about that heat today. Very hot and more heat in the forecast. Signs of a pattern change in the forecast as well. We'll detail that for you in just a few minutes.
Investigating for you. This is News 4 Tucson. John Overall, Angelique Lizardi, Paul Sakala, and Matt Brode. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 10.
All right, so in my opinion, the best part of the day was, what do you guys think?
When the sun set.
Exactly.
It got a little cooler for
Hey,
you.
I was at Bear Down Fridays.
Especially for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun being out there, but let me tell you, it was very hot out there today. So I came back here and I compiled a nice sunset for you so I can show it to you.
Hopefully the last really hot day of the year.
Yeah.
Tomorrow going to be almost as hot, and then we have serious light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we won't be looking back after that. In fact, we might be done with triple digits after this current stretch that we're in. It's going to take a few days to get out of this current stretch.
Okay.
We'll show you that in the 7-day forecast, but before that, let's show you that sunset. This is 5:05. That sun setting in the western skies. Once that happens, even though it's still pretty hot outside, at least it doesn't hurt quite as much as it does. 6:55, it's almost dark. 105 today. Incidentally, 1 degree shy of record heat, 106. When was that set? Incidentally, last year. So the last couple of Septembers have been on the hot side. And look at places like Yuma in the western deserts, a sweltering 113 degrees, 109 up in Phoenix. This is kind of like June heat here now in the middle part of September, but our days are limited. Let's take a look back at our triple-digit tracking. 67th occurrence today of triple-digit highs or more. Average to date would be 60, and in a yearly average, we only do 62, so no matter what happens, even if we didn't hit 100 degrees, we would already be 5 days over it. Don't think we'll come anywhere close to that record year in 1994 when we had 99 occurrences. All right, all eyes still on the Carolinas. We told you it was going to be an incredibly slow-moving storm. This, of course, now Tropical Storm Florence. And if you look at the last 6 hours of the imagery, it's just almost stationary. It's moving maybe to the west at 5 miles per hour, so but bands upon bands of heavy rain. Ocean water still coming into the inland areas, talking about freshwater flooding. We're talking about all sorts of flooding. Latest track from the Hurricane Center of Miami, still top winds at 65, so nothing to sneeze at, still very windy. 15 miles west-northwest of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Movement now to the west-southwest, only at 5 miles per hour. So think about 5. You can jog 5 miles per hour. That's how fast this thing's moving. Sunday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Finally, it's out of South Carolina, western North Carolina, and not until we get into the day on Monday does it start to finally weaken and exit into the mid-Atlantic states. 92 last check at the airport. Dew points at 40. North winds at 7 miles per hour. Rest of the district, we're tracking temps comfy in Bisbee at 69, 77 in Nogales, and down to 93 from 113 today in Yuma. I'd say that's success. Hot, high pressure sitting on top of us. That's why we're hot. But you know what? I think by at least by the next couple of days, we have a couple more of those temperatures in the 100s. But forecast for tomorrow does put the mercury right back to about 102, maybe 103, and that should be all she wrote. Sunday still triple digits, Monday still triple digits, but upper 90s Tuesday. Rain chances back in the mix by Wednesday, Thursday, and there's your low 90s, so I think by this time next week we might be able to say farewell to triple digits for the rest of the year. Wouldn't that be nice?
Ooh, sounds good to me.
Very happy about that. Here at KVOA, we are celebrating 65 years of bringing news to Southern Arizona.
Yes, we are. And as we head to break, here are a few happy anniversary messages.
Happy 65th anniversary, KVOA. You've been a great community partner. You help us collect school supplies for kids. You support our drowning prevention initiatives, and you are a great supporter of public safety. Here's to your continued success in putting our community first.
Congratulations to the entire KVOA team on 65 fantastic years in our community, and here's wishing you 65 great more years.
KVOA celebrating its 65th anniversary, and we are speaking with people in the community about their memories.
News 4 Tucson's Priscilla Casper shares some stories from Tucson's historic Hotel Congress.
If you wanted anything in those years, you came downtown for it, even a haircut.
As you walk into Hotel Congress in downtown Tucson, the floors are original as well as most everything else. The current owner says back in the day, the mood had a 1920s feel.
It was, you know, you could buy your tobacco, men would be standing around in suits. It was like the state-of-the-art place of its period.
The owners are a firm believer in preserving history and keeping it alive.
Every time we've done something, we've tried to keep it true to what it is and the period that it is, and I think that's what's really recognized by all the people that come through the doors.
One of their famous bartenders, 85-year-old Thomas James Ziegler, his nickname Tiger. It's even displayed above the taproom bar sign. He's been working there for decades and says the taproom looks the same. The only thing that's changed,
well, as it is now, there's all these new fancy drinks and everything.
And the owners have made changes to be adaptive with the community.
We used to have performance arts here. We opened up the nightclub. We opened up the banquet hall. We had little shops there at a time. So it's kind of transitioned over time.
Well, this year, Hotel Congress will turn 100 years old. Priscilla Casper, News 4 Tucson.
All right, here we are. Happy 65th anniversary.
Why did I get stuck with this on? All you guys had in mind was
We
played a great trick on you.
We got you on that one. We're supposed to be wearing our hats. Right. Anyway, we couldn't be celebrating 65 years if it not for the audience out there, everyone that really helped support us here. So thank you so much for supporting KVOA and News 4 Tucson.
Yes, and giving us cake to eat tonight.
And we added up our years of service here. We're almost halfway there.
All three of us combined 33 years here at KVOA. That's a long time.
It's a long time, and great memories, that's for sure.
So thanks for everything you've done for us, and we're going to cut the cake and throw it to Paul Cicala. Paul, you've got sports.
That's right. We got the Friday football fever while you cut that cake. And are we still going to put some in Matt's face? Did you want to volunteer?
That would be a bad idea.
I would.
Yeah.
You know me. I would volunteer to be the one that gets it in the face. But we have a Friday football fever show coming up. One of the most intense, in-depth high school football shows in the border Southwest. Join Ari Alexander and yours truly for the Friday football fever coming right at you, my friend. Lots of big games tonight. A few teams still trying to remain undefeated, like Marana, Tucson High, Douglas. And then some, South Point as well, playing on the road and against a Phoenix team. But the Friday football fever is coming right at you. Stick around. Happy birthday.
News 4 Tucson is turning 65, and it's a birthday celebration so big, it's going to take a whole month. Every Wednesday in September, celebrate KVOA TV's 65th birthday with 65-cent deals all over town. Watch News 4 Tucson today or visit KVOA.com for this week's deal. It's on. Friday Football Fever. Brought to you by Arizona Health Exercise Equipment.
How's your energy, Southern Arizona? It's now time for the highly acclaimed, much anticipated Friday Football Fever. Good evening to you. I'm Paul Cicala.
And I'm Ari Alexander. And Paul, we are almost halfway done with the season. We've seen some great players. We've seen some great plays. Our reigning player of the week in action tonight, and our top plays, they keep getting better.
That's right, Ari. And of course, there are still a handful of unbeaten teams in our region, including South Point, Tucson High, Marana, and of course, Douglas. Cochise County.
Playing
Douglas, winless last year, undefeated still. And for now, let's begin with an intriguing matchup. Unbeaten Tucson High hosted an 0-3 Mountain View team that's much better than their winless record indicates. And early on, Jesus Montaño for Tucson High is about to hand the ball off to Gary Love, showing nothing but love. with the first down. And after a big punt, will pin Mountain View inside the 5-yard line. Tucson High bears down. Hayden Parson will be sacked by Wyatt Campos. He thinks it's a safety, but Hayden is ruled down on the 1-yard line. And on the next play, Hayden Parson will find Caleb McCray right out of the end zone. And McCray is breaking off a little something. The Mountain Lions are moving the ball, and after that, Hayden will avoid the rush and hits Donovan Johnson Mahoney right in front of the end zone. Oh, so close, but no worries. One play later, Hayden Parson, the quarterback, will push it in. Mountain View jumps ahead 14-10, but in the end, Tucson High would badger Mountain View just enough to squeak out that 19-14 victory. Had to be a battle for Amphi Unified School District bragging rights with CDO taking on Amphi, and take a look at Canyon Del Oro's at number 27, about to be taken down by Julian Encinas and Landon Haynes. Athletic directors and coaches, please update the roster so we know who's who. And later, CDO's quarterback, who isn't listed on Max Prep's rosters, will get the pass knocked down by Amphi's Person Williams. The crowd, they are loving it, even though we don't have many names to match with the numbers without the roster updated. I can't tell you this. Big plays for CDO. Amphi falls big, 46-0. Hey, moving on from Oro Valley and the far reaches of North Pima County to the easternmost part of the county and Vail, Arizona. Let's send things out to Ari Alexander.
Hey, Paul, the post-Jamari Joyner era for Cienega has been pretty good so far for the Bobcats. Tonight, they take on Rincon, and they're gunning for their 3rd win in 4 games. Meanwhile, winless Rincon hoping to pull off a colossal upset. And we start with the world's tiniest cheerleaders performing at Cienega. But Cienega would get up big in this one. Already 7-0. Short pass from Luis Morales to Chris Burrows. No trouble getting in the end zone. It's 14-0. And then that Cienega defense, you can have bobble a snap, or Zach Modis and Andrew Husfeld will just eat the quarterback. Cienega gets the ball back just before the end of the quarter. A handoff to Caleb Beard, and he is going to drag the pile all the way into the end zone. Cienega up 21-0, and it's 28-0, and Rincon is punting to Diego Ruby, and it might not be Tuesday, but he is going to score here on Friday. I don't know where I'm going with that one. Anyway, he scores. Coach has gotten my way. You just got to trust me that he got in the end zone. You can't really see it, but Cienega blows out Rincon 56-14. On the east side at Palo Verde High School, Titans down 35-0 going into the second half. That is a terrifying mascot. The Ravens add to their lead. Alex Verdugo, the swing pass to Wyatt Jeffries. 42-0. Ravens take the lead, but Palo Verde will put up a fight. J.Q. Hale to Kendall Williams, and the Titans are on the board 42-6. The band is winning, though. They are playing a little Lady Gaga. I love Bad Romance, one of my favorites ever. Then J.Q. Hale running it in to make it 42-12. Final score, quote the Ravens, 55-12. Empire strikes back. All right, thanks a lot, Ari. And moving on to the talk of the high school football world here in Southern Arizona. I'm referring to Nogales High School's very own Maile Vasquez. There she is. She set a record last week for Nogales by becoming the first female kicker to boot 6 extra points in a game. Could Nogales build off of its 45-0 win over Catalina High School? Well, tonight in Sahuarita, Walden Grove had something to say about that. And check out the kicker, Maile Vasquez, out in the field tonight with Sahuarita cheering on, but Walden Grove's fans were also coming strong for the Red Wolves, and under the direction of Walden Grove announcer Joe Scott and staff, everyone ready for action. Love that look. Looking good, my friend. All right, into the first quarter, 1st and 10, and Walden Grove's Bradley Capin has a big run, but he is only getting started. Still in the first, Walden Grove's Hector Najar will catch the pass, and then he's shown the grass. Later, Walden Grove still putting the pressure on. How about Bradley Capin? Bradley definitely wasn't done when he thought he was Forrest Gump and went for the run, run, run. Nice little pickup, and finally some action like Jackson. Let's do this. When Walden Grove's Mason Young will bust it free, and he's going to lose the ball, fumble, but no worries because it's recovered by Walden Grove. That's a touchdown. This game was all about the boys from Sahuarita. Walden Grove wins big, 49-0. Folks, we are far from over with. After the break, more Friday football fever in the old Pueblo. That's right. It was another showdown on the south side for bragging rights up and down South 6th Avenue from 22nd Street to Valencia. Pueblo hosting Sunnyside. Coach Rich Sanchez and Santa Rita also gunned for their first win, while Marana hope to stay unbeaten. Friday football fever cheers on and rocks on.
after the break.
It's on. Friday Football Fever. Brought to you by Arizona Health Exercise Equipment.
Hello, I'm David Adams, former U of A Dallas Cowboy, and more importantly, Sunnyside Blue Devil. We're here to watch Friday Football Fever with Paul and Ari.
Yeah, all right. One of the best running backs to ever suit up in Arizona, David Adams, with the assists from Sunnyside and Pueblo cheerleaders tonight. Gotta love it. Welcome back to the Friday Football Fever. How's your energy, my high school football fans? I'm Paul Sikala, Ari Alexander standing by. But first, quick reminder, you can see all of the scores for all the big games on our ticker right below. We'll have full rundowns on KVOA.com. But for now, let's get right back into it, shall we? Let's head out to Pueblo High School, where apart from a football game, we have some cheerleader unity between both the Warriors and Sunnyside. Got to give props for Frankie Grijalva, the Pueblo cheer coach, teaming up with Bonnie Barron, the Sunnyside cheer coach, along with the Blue Devil. She was also my student council teacher in high school. All right, go Sunnyside. All right, halftime show, and on the field, the show began with a kickoff to Sunnyside's Will Rose, pushing it up, and he cannot be taken down. Check it out. A bit later, Pueblo is about to get the ball with the quarterback, Marcelino Vega, handing it off. And such a defensive struggle, the players are losing their heads or helmets. Not that funny, Ari. All right, both teams would continue to heat it up. A bit later, Marcelino Vega rolls to his left and picks up a few yards. Not a lot early, though. As you can see, both Pueblo and Sunnyside were bearing down defensively. In the end, Sunnyside wins 21-14. From the banks of the Santa Cruz River, we head to the southeast side, where Coach Richard Sanchez and Santa Rita were gunning for their first win of the season. Ari Alexander joins us with more.
Yeah, that's what I sound like when I laugh, Paul. I'm a 1930s stooge. All right, Santa Rita went winless last year, and because of depleting numbers and student population, the high school football team hasn't really been able to get into the victory column. But now, two-time state champion with Sunnyside coach Richard Sanchez has taken over. And he's hoping for his first win with his new squad tonight against Miami. Sanchez making the coaching comeback on the east side, and his kicker, that's right, Alejandro Rodriguez is going to have a big night early. Opening kickoff, kind of a squib onside here, and Santa Rita gets it. Then Rodriguez, the 33-yard field goal, high snap, doesn't matter because he buries it. 3-0 Eagles take the lead. Both teams good on defense. Number 30 for Miami, not on the roster, would get picked off by Adrian Heffernan, but quickly, can we talk about the fact that their quarterback is number 30? Weird. Anyway, Miami goes on to win 6-3 as they score in the second half.
All right, our reigning Tucson Roadrunners Player of the Week, Trenton Bourget, was hoping to continue his onslaught on the record books as unbeaten Marana hosted a 3-1 Williamsfield High School team from the Phoenix area. And he had tossed an early TD pass to TJ Seffers. You don't want none. And then defense is the name of the game, as Coven Bourget, Trenton's brother, will bust out with the INT, taking the interception back all the way for a few yards there, setting things up. His sibling goes to work once again, and Trenton Bourget will hit Ephraim Amisa, who will take it all the way to the opponent's 20-yard line before he goes down. And then, how about Trenton Bourget getting the ball to Christian Wood, and it is all good with Wood in the hood. The hood they call Marana, but Williamsfield scores 21 unanswered to win this game. Final score 33-14. Now let's get to the Friday Football Player of the Week.
That's right, Paul. Play of the week. We go back to Cienega, where Diego Ruby going to catch this punt, take it all the way 47 yards for the Bobcats as part of their 56-14 blowout win over Rincon. I know you can't see the end of the play there because the coaches, well, they got in my way, but he scored. Trust me, he got in there in the end zone, 47 yards, a la casa to the house. Touchdown Diego Ruby. That is our play of the week. And you can catch all the top plays, the top 3, on Twitter on Saturday.
Looking good, my friends. It's that time of the night, though, that we hate to come to, and we look forward to the least. Once again, it is time to say good night. Sai Chien. Buenas noches. Bye-bye.
До свидания.
Good. That's Russian, right?
Right, yes. Yeah.
The other stuff was what? Spanish, English, a
right.
little bit of a Mandarin.
Hey, there you go.
But, hey,
so the half of the regular season is over. A good chunk of teams in Tucson for the U of A. The Wildcats, they're still trying to get their first win. They're 0-2. We're going to have a preview with this guy right here, Paul Sakala of the Cats at 5:30 as they take on Southern Utah at 8.
That's right. Of course, this guy, Ari Alexander, will be holding it down from the KVOA studios, and I'll be live on the campus of the U of A with Coach Sumlin, Khalil Tate, and all the rest. And don't forget, of course, if you missed any of the show, you can see it again on KVOA.com. For Ari Alexander, I'm Paul Sakala. Have a good one.
Good night.